Alright, here we are ready to put everything back together. For your 660 owner, you're going to be wedging this in, and you usually got to do it the exact same way, but it'll kind of wedge in and usually slip on a whole lot easier going back on as it did coming off. You got to get this thing up on there. There it goes. Alright, at this point, we'll take our secondary spreading screw that we give you. Spread that secondary apart. I can't emphasize enough about clean hands. Alright, now these belts have an arrow on them. What's important is not necessarily what direction you put it on the first time, but what's important is that the fact that anytime you take it off in the future, you put it back on in the same direction. Alright, so we got our inside sheave cleaned up, we got our spacer cleaned up and back on. Right before we put our new style machine sheave on, we take our shim, put it on the shaft, then we take our new clutch that is grease free, we hold it together, don't get it apart. Now, with the belt slack, you can pick it up with your left hand. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little bit of cogs or spline sticking through the cogs on the cam plate right here. This is the most important part of this, and the most messed up part. People mess up. Take your washer, get it up on it, because see, I can put it right there, and if I didn't have pressure on it, let me back it off a little bit just to show you. If I backed it up, well, I can't even get it to come off. Alright, right there. If I put the washer just up on there, actually that washer will tighten up against the end of the splines, and you'll think you're good, but you're not. So put it all the way up there, hold pressure, put your washer around the splines. Mine's actually going to hang there for me. Hang on it. Alright, and then torque that to manufacturer's spec. Don't pay attention to what I'm doing. Now, 660 owners, well, before we get into that, take that screw out. Alright. 660 owners will be putting the nut back on. 700 owners will be putting your spacer, your fan with the little parts pointing inward, and then the nut. Now, put this thing in neutral. You can roll it until your belt's tight, like so. And put your bearing support back on. Alright. Anyway, these guide pins, sometimes they stay on the bearing support, sometimes they stay in the motor, but you need to make sure that they're there. They're going to be bottom left, top right, same places. We put the long screw and the long screws. Alright, make sure it goes on there good. Since I got to take this one back off again, put his actual gold spring on, I'm going to stop right there. So put your long screw in the bottom, long screw in the top right, put your shorter screws there, put our cover back on, and reassemble everything else and all. As I say it sometimes, if you can't get to this point, this might not be the thing you want to do, but I beg you not to take it to a Yamaha dealer, because this greaseless, and leaving that cover off of that sheave that was on there, and them 8 little screws, they just like a fly to the light. They can't stop themselves. So as you saw, we didn't put the cover back on. There's no grease in that primary sheave anywhere except in the hole. We back stock, and this guy ought to be much happier. If you noticed all this black dust, he's got a CVT snorkel, and I think that his problem was it's getting so hot and his belt was degrading, and it got in everything, and his got in his grease, and it built up with the dirt. You got to do some maintenance. Read the tech article. Read the last part of the tech article about the maintenance on this. So anyway, if I can be of help to you guys, give me a call here at Hunterworks.